Today, some new questions about what could amount to a big shift in U.S. relations with Iran, the potential now for the first substantive talks with that country in 30 years. On Friday, the Obama administration announced it would accept Iran's offer to meet. So what could face-to-face talks between the U.S. and the Islamic Republic look like, and what could be accomplished? Joining me live is Leonard Spector, Deputy Director of the Center for Non-Proliferation Studies at the Monterey Institute of International Studies. Good morning to you, Leonard.
Morning.
What does it mean for the U.S. and its 5 partner countries to have accepted Iran's offer to hold talks?
Well, first, it makes good on the Obama administration's efforts to engage Iran as a precursor, perhaps, to taking stronger measures. If we actually make progress in the talks, we will have some benefits, I think, on the nuclear side and maybe in some other areas, but that remains to be seen.
Okay, let's talk about the timing here, because Iran made this offer for the talks on Wednesday. What's it being interpreted? I mean, how is it being interpreted now, particularly in light of what was seen as a manipulation of the election this summer?
Well, I think part of it has to do with the Ahmadinejad government trying to gain international respect. And if the United States sits down with it, it will have some legitimizing impact. On the other hand, I think they're also very concerned about the imposition of strict sanctions. And the Obama administration said if we don't get the talks started in September, sanctions are going to follow very quickly. So I think that was also on their mind.
You know, addressing what you were talking about, the nuclear issue, the big if, of course, always when it comes to a meeting between the U.S. and Iran would be whether the nuclear issue is on the table. State Department says it wants to see serious engagement on the nuclear issue. Iran says it's off the table. We don't want to talk about it. What is your take? Can the U.S. make any sort of headway on the nuclear issue if Iran says it's not on the table, if they're not going to discuss it?
This will be a very tough negotiation to get started, but I imagine it will come up in the conversation, and a beginning will be had. It'll take further rounds of discussions to see if we can make any progress. The U.S. has had a very tough position. It may have to soften it a little bit, but it doesn't want to give away too much early in the game. So it's a very tricky situation here of keeping Iran interested and wanting to talk without actually giving away anything significant from our side.
Well, and Leonard, I know you're aware of the reports this week that Iran is getting closer to actually having a nuclear weapon. How true do you think that is? How close is Iran to that?
Well, I think we, all of us that have been following this, appreciate that Iran now has the low-enriched uranium that could be the raw material that would be upgraded and could be made into a bomb. Now, that would take some time. So I think from the Obama administration standpoint, there are opportunities still to head off this bomb program if we can get negotiations started and get the right kind of an outcome. And I think it's a toss-up here. You, on the one hand, want to emphasize how dangerous the program is in order to get sanctions if we need them, but on the other side, you want to make clear that there's still time to get a good result.
Leonard, how much time are we talking about here, though? Is it 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? I mean, how much time would it take for them to have a nuclear weapon?
Well, I think estimates vary. It may go from 6 months to a year and a half. The big issue for the Obama administration is they've set a timetable that if substantial progress isn't made by the end of this year, then sanctions are going to be the way we're going to go and really try to get tough with the Iranians. So we're not going to wait around for that last minute. We want to get the process started right away and see if we can make some progress.
Do you see the possibility for military action by some party to knock out nuclear facilities in Iran?
I think it's in the background, but right now it's being used more, I think, as a way of prodding the Iranians to the bargaining table, and it's less of an actual threat at this moment. I think the United States is cautioning Israel not to take action. We want to see how these negotiations go. If we hit a stone wall and then we impose sanctions and those don't work, we always have this last resort possibility, but certainly nobody wants to see that.
Okay, Leonard Spector, thank you very much. Appreciate your candor.